Tonight, a lot of reflection over the past year since protests erupted on the streets of Fort Wayne after the killing of George Floyd in the hands of police in Minneapolis. Thanks for choosing us tonight at 11. I'm Carly Van Cleve. Brian and Krista have the night off. ABC 21's Tyler Brummett talked with a faith leader and a community activist to get their thoughts about what still needs to be done. Tyler?
Well, Carly, those memories are still very fresh. They both tell me their work is far from over. Pastor Raymond Dix and protest organizer Minnie Jackson say some progress has been made, but there is still not a solid relationship between police and people of color. I sat down with each of them as they reflected on the several nights of protest here in Fort Wayne and across the country.
All I remember is seeing downtown filled with smoke.
I didn't expect to see that level of protest.
This was the scene 1 year ago in downtown Fort Wayne. Protesters and police clashing following the murder of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police.
I remember seeing officers in the bushes macing us as we were walking by. I remember almost being ran over by a police car.
Minnie Jackson was one of the thousands of people taking to the streets. She says she'd hoped for her voice to be heard, but also says that hasn't happened yet.
We're hurt. Many of us have PTSD. Many of us, we have nightmares. I know the closer it got to the 28th and the 29th, I found myself having severe migraines from being just stressed out, feeling like I relive it. I go past the courthouse and I can see all of us running and scattering the way that we did.
At Pilgrim Baptist Church of Fort Wayne, Pastor Raymond Dix agrees.
I do not think we've had the types of conversations that are critical to moving police reform forward. There are many other elements towards police reform that we need to be discussing.
Pastor Dix says several members of his congregation have been impacted by last year's protests. As someone who's been in ministry for more than 30 years, he says the past year has perhaps been one of the most difficult. In his church, Dix wants people to have open conversations and invites police to be a part of that.
We need the police. But also I think that it's important for police to do everything they can to increase their cultural competence, to be able to learn as much about different cultures.
Both Pastor Dix and Jackson continue to hope that their calls for racial equality are heard, and they say it takes everyone.
If we're all going to get to the day where we're all Americans and we see each other as Americans, then we're going to have to increase conversations.
We, again, have to find a common ground in order to live amongst each other peacefully. It is your responsibility to take that accountability to kill that evilness that is lurking in our soil.
Now, I do want to mention that a protest reunion was scheduled for today, but it has since been rescheduled for Saturday, June 5th. Because of weather, of course, we'll continue to keep you updated. Carly.